morning. My name is Donovan Walker. I'm the planning ops for Great Basin Team 5, and today is Monday, September 9th. This is your operational briefing. I do want to start off by saying obviously a lot of fire activity yesterday across the state, across the Boise National Forest. We also had quite a bit of fire activity on our fires, both with the Bulldog Fire and with the Nellie Fire. So with that, I'll take you around the map and kind of show you what we know and what our plan is for today, how we were successful yesterday, and the kind of actions that are to come. We're going to start up in the Silver Creek area. This is along the Middle Fork Road along the 671. We've continued a lot of line preparations to the north. We are just above the Silver Creek Plunge area and the Lodge area. We're still working our way north, and then we're going to be coming across to the east on the 678 road, doing the same kinds of activities for modifying the fuels, for thinning some of the trees out, for doing mastication, mechanical work, and all of this is to make these areas we're identifying more defensible, where one, if fire comes in here, we're able to manage fire at a lower intensity and be able to protect the values at risk with the different measures we have in there. There's a lot of pumps in there, hose in there, sprinkler systems in different places. And then also, if we need to use those roads as control features to keep fire out, it allows us a defense mechanism to be able to do that. We've been working on that for days, and we still have several days to go. As far as fire activity, this goat fire to our north, not part of our area of responsibility. It was quite active. It made quite a push actually towards the Silver Creek Lookout Tower, which was wrapped about 2 days ago. We have a lot of crews that were up in there watching that. The big column, smoke columns that were built by the other fires, oftentimes what happens is you can almost think of it like a thunderstorm where it builds up really high, it gets so high, and when it loses the ability to build high, it comes back down. It's called a collapse. And just like a thunderstorm, when you get a downdraft out of a thunderstorm, it hits the ground, goes all directions. Very similar when you build a column that high. At night, as the heating stops, it cools and that settles again, and we had very strong winds through the evening hours into the night that fanned the goat fire to the southeast. This prompted us to take folks out of our Silver Creek Spike Camp up there. We left a skeleton crew, but we moved a lot of people out of that camp for their safety, and just left some key operational folks and people to implement structure protection, turn pumps on and things like that if they needed to. And we're going to continue in that posture. Everyone's back up in there today, but I don't anticipate keeping the Spike Camp with a lot of people overnight, just to err on the side of safety for that. So enough about that. We'll go look at Bulldog here. The west side's still looking good. Where we had the most growth on Bulldog was going to be on this north and east side, and it came out almost all the way to Bulldog Creek. We weren't able to fly infrared on the fire last night because of the column and all the smoke that was out and around. It was not going to be effective. So we looked at some satellite imagery and some satellite detections, and we can see exactly where this perimeter is, and it comes out quite a bit here. No real threat to our control line and our objectives of keeping the fire east of that 671 road, and we're still within those objectives there. Moving around to the south of Bulldog, we did have some fire activity within. As expected, this has been modeled for several days that these fires are coming together. Fire progression has not progressed far enough to the south for us to feel like we need to implement this. There's a lot of broken fuels in between where this fire is and where our kind of line in the sand is of needing to do something and put black on here, because once we start implementing this indirect control line that is our primary control line, it's going to take 3 to 4 days to get that done. And by implementing it, it's going to be us needing to put fire on the ground in order to take the fuels away against our fuel break, our line that we put in. It's going to take those fuels away and not allow this fire to basically cross that. That's a tactic that's used on a lot of fires. It's highly successful, especially when you've had the kind of time to prepare for it as we have. There's been well over 10 days of work on this line to get it ready. We know where those trigger points are. We model it every single day, and we just want to make sure if we need to do it, it's at the right time, that it needs to be done, and that we have enough time to complete it. That being said, we are looking at weather changes coming in the next couple of days. That could very much benefit these two fires coming together. As I said, those fuels are broken, so if it takes a chunk and burns to an area that it doesn't want to get through very easily, and then you get rain on a situation like that, it could very well park that in there potentially for the rest of the season. But like anything with weather, you just never know 100%. They're forecasts, they're tools that we use. Our boots on the ground, our eyes, our knowledge is what's going to allow us to figure out what right looks like and what we need to do here, if anything. Moving around to the southern part of the Nellie fire, these control lines remain strong and in place. They're being monitored. The Highway 17 corridor is being monitored. The mop-up that's gone on around the southern portion here before we start coming north again is pretty much complete. Again, we just want to keep some crews in there to keep eyes, because we have some interior heat that's not right next to the line, things that you might be able to see. And if someone sees something and says, hey, we think there's a problem there, I want to have people in that area to look and say, no, that is, a quarter mile in from the control line. It's of no effect or danger to our control lines. And that's why we keep people in those areas. Moving along the eastern side of the Nellie fire, there's only a couple of places that showed heat yesterday. Even through everything, this is all in the old Pioneer burn scar. The whole east side remains in a confinement strategy. The spot up on the northern end, this hasn't moved in about 5 days now. We've had crews in there every day. They've been mopping up. We don't expect any more spread in this area to the west. That being said, White Hawk Mountain, the structure wrap was completed yesterday, so that tower is completely wrapped with the fire shelter type material that we use to protect some of those valuable structures out there. So that operation is done. There is heat still on this northeast side. We continue to work up in that area to develop our contained strategies. But overall, the objective is to keep any fire that's here east of these indirect lines that we've put in. So as long as we're out here, we're accomplishing what we need to for our objectives. Deadwood Reservoir continues to be in a mop-up status. I didn't see any heat on the last infrared that we had, and I certainly didn't see it on the satellite infrared, or excuse me, the satellite detection this morning. It was not showing heat signatures around the reservoir, which tells us all of our efforts in there have been very successful. This concludes your operational briefing for Monday. Thank you.